What's going on, traders? Welcome back to day 19 of 25 days of trading. I appreciate you tuning in as we get to the finish line here, the closing week of this YouTube series. I appreciate you tuning in as always, and if you missed the previous 18 videos, make sure you go back and show those some love. And for future videos, all the way through Christmas morning, every morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, I'll be dropping the next days, so make sure you tune in for that. In this one, I want to walk you through my previous weeks of trading because I think there's more lessons in it than the video we made prior where I recapped my month of pretty much November and December. We didn't get too heavily into the most recent week of trading that I had. We went over some of the markups, but not all of them, because I think there's just outlying lessons in this one of how we can become better, what I still need to work on, and even just expectations of being a trader, right? If we just get right into it here on the TradeZella side of things, first off, you might see 10 straight green days to start the month. Very pleased with that. Obviously, I am. But the lessons within it of, if you look at Monday, Tuesday here, pretty much break even. We'll call that break even. Where did we go? Starting off the video with a mistake already. But on the 9th and the 10th, 65 bucks, 83 bucks, we'll call that break even. But I did survive the day. It's better than red, or it's better than a big red day. But on the Tuesday one, which we'll look at specifically, definitely self-induced, could have made more money. So although I did make 2.6K on the week by stacking green days following that, because I learned my lesson and I bounced back pretty nicely, it definitely could have been a better week. And then one other thing we look at, just currently, I'm 1 day shy of tying my best streak that I've had this year. That'd be pretty interesting in the last week of the year. I could have my best streak of the year. And on the trade side of things, I think I'm on my best one now. I think it was an 18. I think every trade that I have green, I keep adding to the streak, so that's pretty cool. But super pleased with how the month is going for sure. I'm not going to deny 10 straight days to start the month is obviously great. But looking at these little tiny mistakes, trying to be perfect as best we can, although we don't try to teach you to be perfect because obviously that's not healthy, but definitely could have made more on this day. We'll go over this day, but let's just get right into it. On the markup side of things. So first things first, to start off the week on a Monday, big move down. First healthy pullback that I'm going to look to take short on a break of lower day VWAP. Fits my plan, so the entry wasn't bad. But on a break even day on this Monday, I'm actually proud of the lesson of I didn't take two trades really in this one entry. I had a good stop that until that's hit, my trade's still valid. So I'm not going to micromanage it because there was a few people that cut risk here. Then it got back in just to cut risk again. They're kind of taking two losses on the same idea when it hasn't really been invalidated yet. So thankfully, I didn't pull it when it was in drawdown because I'm like, this sucks, but it still could be building a deeper lower high from my stop balls back here. So I let it go. And I didn't add back in because that doesn't necessarily mean, oh, this is absolutely going to win now. Although you'll see me do that later on in the week. It's kind of just a discretionary thing of just because it broke back below doesn't mean it's going to run. So maybe it wasn't warranted on the other day, but it worked out. But regardless, the play was later on, just shortly after it gives the full retest to the daily VWAP, breaks the lower day VWAP again. So it's the same price as my first short. So price is what pays. This was the price to sell it at 73. Now for this one, on this first short, I'm not going to have a stop above here. So there's really no way to avoid that pullback and say, oh, I could have still been in. No, it's just a timing plus price. That 73 was right. My timing was just a little bit early. Let me sell it at 73 again, and I'm able to make the 1R. But you can see from that monthly P&L, it was just to recover here on TradeZella. So we'll take that day when we can recover and end the day break even. Okay, nice. But now we go to Tuesday, where this gets a little bit different. First things, we talked about this lesson. I made a video about it of how to use that 15 minutes and not get induced into some poorer trades, right? This is just a key example of where I wanted to short it just prior to my short that I ended up taking a little bit lower, of how we're right off the initial bounce, right off New York VWAP. The trend's clearly bearish. If you bought this, you need help and you need to watch my other videos because this is the first time for 5 minutes that buyers have been in all day. That doesn't mean that we're going higher today. But that's another video. We're not going to talk about that too much here. But now let's go to Tuesday. This was the day that was self-inflicted. Could have been avoided. What I need to sharpen up on. Okay, nice. Break-even day yesterday. That's all right. We're surviving. Now let's take some note trades on this Tuesday. So we have a choppy open, but once we make the new lower day, the bearish sentiment is set in. I'm looking for shorts. Same entry applies on a break of lower day VWAP. So I'm taking my trade. So how could I possibly have had a bad week of why are you disappointed? Well, in this one, it moves into profit, makes a new lower day. So I think I was kind of warranted to be like, okay, let's move stops to break even. We don't need this to come back on me. but it does. And it stops me out break even, which on this one actually wasn't the end of the world because it would have came back and stopped me out or at least flirted with it. So I'm not too upset with that break even, just minimizing risk. But before that, I then jumped to this trade after because I really like this ES short just the way, same thing I made in that video of how to use that 15 minute to help maybe get you in these 1 minute price actions. That this looks kind of bullish. If you're reading it left to right, heading into this might just be a higher low. But I'm shorting it because if you look at the 15 minute here, we just rejected yesterday's New York VWAP, still making lower highs from here. So I still kind of lean short bias with the lower highs, lower lows. That although we're above the daily here, we just rejected this VWAP. Now my short on the 1 minute does come when we're back below it at least, right? Because I need to wait for at least those two VWAPs to be broken underneath, not just underneath yesterday's New York. That's why if you read the notes here, if you screenshot it, I hesitated a little bit to sell it right here. I wanted it right there, waited too long, so I got a little bit lower of a price. Where on this one, maybe if I had the higher price, I could have gotten the 1R to the bottom of the range. But regardless, I'm trading mid-range. It's kind of not my best setup just structurally wise, even though there is some discretion and merit to it. But the dollar figure just wasn't enough for me to want to close it down here as it stalls. So unfortunately, I get stopped break even. And then eventually does fall a little bit later, I think way over here though. That even this one doesn't go the 1R, but maybe that would have been enough for me to close. Who knows? I was already out of it by then. But there's another break even. So 2 solid reads, 2 break evens. But then there's the 15. Now let's go back to MQ. I was just stopped out, right? I shorted it here, went into a little bit of profit, moved stop to break even. So I guess let's just real quick. Let's see. So on this first short, my stop loss was like at 506, the opening range low. So on this second one, yeah, so my stop loss for this short down here was like right here. So would have definitely flirted with stopping me out at least. But nonetheless, I was out of it break even. But then I add back in once it still holds lower highs from back here, right? We're still falling on top underneath New York, opening range low. Sellers are taking the lower day view up again. Okay, nice. I'd sell it again. But same thing. Gets into a little bit of profit. I move stops to break even. Just removing risk, not giving anything enough time today to develop and work itself out. I'm just like, okay, cool, profit for 5 minutes, nice, boom, thank you. Now don't come back, right? Where realistically, it's like, yeah, I'm in profit in the first 5 minutes, but doesn't mean it's a done deal that we're far enough from price that this can't possibly come back and still fall. Because obviously, when you detach yourself from the trade now, lower high, lower high, lower high. So it was completely bearish the entire time. It would have spent like 2 minutes in drawdown of like 1 point. That is just because I was impatient. I don't want to wait an hour to get that 1R way down here, or even if it was to there, that I wasn't giving it enough time. And I knew that going into the trade almost of like, I'm not gonna be here for a while, so let's work out pretty quickly. So as soon as I had the first sign I was able to move south to break even, I did. But the real lesson is, well, if you're thinking like that already before you even get in, why are you even trading? If you can't properly give it the time it needs, the attention it needs, the patience you need, then you're probably just better off saying, all right, well, I'm gonna just get off the desk then, because I'm not willing to manage it properly. So then why even trade? I'll come back tomorrow when I can follow my rules and I can give it the time to run. Because today I'm like literally not willing to let it pull back, do its thing. Yeah, I'm fine, right? I was like, no, stops break even as soon as we can. For whatever reason. Maybe I'm trying to hold on to that green month heading into it of like, I don't want any losses. I don't want any losses. Whatever it may be. On this given Tuesday, I was very protective, playing a lot of defense. So it's unfortunate to see. Again, it's also not the worst. Like this one didn't really leave too much on the table. It actually helped me that I moved stop to break even, right? Because that probably would have stopped me out. ES back here, just the one prior. I could have made a little bit out of it. It's way less than 1R. It's choppy, but it's probably this one to see fall easily bearish. I'm just like, damn, didn't make any money on that. So now when we look back on the month, go back to TradeZella here, this 83. Oh, nice, he survived the day. It's like, no, I had good reads. I definitely could have made some money on that day. And then maybe it would have been a 3K day, right? Just an extra 400, who knows, whatever it may have been. And then it looks like a slightly bigger week, and then it looks nice. So the trades were good. The management was the problem. This was on the one on Wednesday. So now following the Monday, Tuesday of Monday was good. Tuesday was poor management, break even. So I really haven't done a dent on the week. This is the trade, the bounce back trade. This is bread and butter. I talk about this in Futures 2.0 on ASFX TV here in the Futures 2.0 course. This one's going to VWAP break. There are bounces as well, but this is the VWAP break off a key level. So if you go to the markup here, it's off the New York VWAP. We're well above opening range high, and we're clearly trending higher. I'm just getting in on the breaks of high day VWAP. And same thing on this day, I had no problem being patient because I sat through the drawdown, say no, my stop is fine. Well, actually, for this one, the dotted line down here is where my stop was originally when we took this on stream, because I want to give it space to hold this New York. But then once I saw it hold New York a second time, I'm like, okay, well, this is our level. Don't go below that. So then once we got above the high day VWAP here, I actually added in, saying I really like the way we're holding above here, still building bullish on the bottom. I had a little bit more conviction in it. And now kind of partially with the higher risk that I just added in, as well as, well, now I kind of don't need it to go all the way down there to get me out. Take me out there if it wants to pull back some more. So I was able to get a tighter stop, heavier risk, clean trend continuation to the upside, got my 1R, and I was out. So on this day, I had no problem, right? Like, yes, if this was like the day prior, I would have been stops break even there and then stopped out for no reason, right? Like, what are you doing? So thankfully, bounced back the next day, following the rules, having conviction, and I'm glad I didn't pull it here, because why would I? It's still building higher lows. My trade's not invalid. I have a good stop. Let's hold these VWAPs and continue higher. This is the next day. I took this on stream with Austin. Clean trend once again. Clear bias of where I want to go. And now this one I couldn't really mess up because it was kind of just all profit, but consolidates there, but I ain't going to move stops there. That's too close. But hold of New York VWAP. Sellers defend this beautifully. The second time we get outside this open range low here, I'm selling that. Boom, clean 1R. Again, not marrying it super long because it actually does come back higher. So I got a clean exit on that one. Not getting greedy, so I didn't mismanage this trade. Or on Wednesday's trade, on both of them, I got my 1R, 1.5R. Stop losses were where they originally were. I'm out of the trade. This one on Friday to cap it off. Clear bearish bias. Just a quick one, small pullback, break of low day. I got my 1R. So on this one, it looks like a small pullback, and it is a small pullback. The only reason I took it, because this white line down here is the opening week's range low from Edgeville, which had a high probability of being engaged, but it didn't. It didn't get engaged with, even though 98% of the time it does. It was a 2% week, believe it or not. But in whatever case, I still found a short using that bias. But it was really Wednesday and Thursday that I was proud of the bounce back of, okay, you really mismanaged Tuesday. Monday was fine, but damn, it's Wednesday here and we're still break even. Come on, let's push it. So a nice strong finish to the week. Like I said, all these trades that I took were pretty similar, so I'm glad with that. If I could just keep following the trading plan on entry, and then sometimes I'll have some mishaps on the management, as we all do, but the management is the work on. The entries were consistent, which I'm pleased with. All the entries are discussed here in Futures 2.0 on ASFX TV, which if you're watching this in December as they're getting posted, if you use code XMIS, you can get 25% off your first month. You'll get access to the 2 courses as well as these live streams where I took half of these trades right in front of you, so you can take them with me. You can ask questions, get feedback on your own trades, all these different things. But you also just get access to the course where I break down everything you need about how to trade it. The entry, the stop loss, the risks, funding and scaling, habits, VWAPs, all that good stuff. But like I said in the beginning, not a bad week. Just a couple bad days that could have maybe been better. But nonetheless, still a great month, still a great finish to the year. So let's keep it up. Keep tuning back in 11 a.m. Eastern every morning all the way through Christmas. We'll keep doing these videos. But I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Let's finish this month strong. If you need me, always feel free to reach out. But other than that, go back and watch the other previous 18 days. I'll see you guys on the desk tomorrow morning.